Okay, so here we are again. We're going to this time do Christina into a beautiful classic smoky eye with a little bit of a twist. I'm going to add in a little bit of aubergine colours just for a little change. And we're going to do something quite glamorous, quite full makeup, but still keeping it, you know, natural looking on the skin so it doesn't look too heavy. So we're going to start off with, again, using some primer. We've already moisturised, so we're going to use some primer now. So I'd put a little bit more on than I did for a daytime look for an evening, because obviously you're going to be dancing or sitting somewhere that might get hot. And you can just see it instantly takes down shine. You can as well, if you're in a particular hurry, you can mix it in with your liquid foundation to make it stay. So sometimes that's a nice quick way of doing it. And I'm going to take a little bit over the eyelids just to give it extra staying power. Okay, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Glow Protective Liquid Foundation. And I understand you use this one when you're on tour.
Yeah, I use it on tour, in the shower, because it's quite water resistant. So when I sweat, it still stays well on my skin, which is very important, obviously, to us to sort of look decent after we danced. And so it looks like the makeup is
because then that's when you have to be interviewed, right?
Exactly.
So what I'm going to do is to make it a slightly lighter coverage than you would use, I'm going to mix it with a little bit of moisturiser. So you get the coverage, but you get it not quite as full. And then I'm also going to use the texture brush to apply it. So by using the texture brush rather than the traditional foundation brush, we get a lighter coverage and we get it really nicely buffed into the skin. So let me add some moisturiser and I'll just give it a little mix. And then I'm just going to pop it onto the brush, just making sure it's over evenly, but you don't need to have a lot of product. So I still have most of the product on my hand because it's, again, about thin, light layers. So even when sometimes people think that they want it to stay a long time, so they put loads on to start with, or if they've got to cover something up, they put loads on, but doing the small layers is the best way. And what we're going to do then is literally buff it into the skin. So you can see it already. Okay. And you can obviously go with more coverage than we did for daytime. And when we're doing it like this with using a liquid foundation instead of a pressed or a loose base, I like to do the foundation first and then the concealer after, because you often find that, you know, your foundation is going to take out a lot of the things that you think need concealing. So you might be adding more makeup where you don't need it.
Look on purpose.
And then I'm just going to take some of the foundation on a concealer brush, and I'm going to take it around the eyes. So it's a little bit more gentle than using the texture brush around the eyes. So if you just close for me. And then up and underneath as well. There you've got your base, and you've got that basically without any concealer yet. And you can see that it's the satin base, so you've still got the really beautiful sheen to the skin, but you've got a much fuller coverage than with the product that we did really nice and lightly earlier. We also do the Glow Protective Liquid in a matte finish as well. So if you want a really matte look, you know, very made up, or you've got very oily skin, it's really perfect for that. Okay, so I'm going to move on next to doing a little bit of concealer. We don't need very much because the foundation has taken away some of the concealing. But what we are going to do is we're going to use the concealer in a slightly lighter tone than before to take around the eyes. It's really nice and flattering at night time to have that really beautiful paleness around the under eye, and when we do the smoky on the top, it makes it stand out and gives it that wow factor. So I'm just going to apply it where we were before, so just looking up for me. So it's acting as a concealer but also as a little bit of a highlighter too. So just going to take it into the inner corners. Just close your eyes for me. And that's all right for your concealer. Next we're going to take a little bit of powder. We're going to use a different powder from last time, so we're going to actually use the perfecting powder. And how this differs, I know it looks the same, but what it means is it's actually not adding any more coverage like the pressed base we used earlier. It's just taking away shine where we don't want shine. So I'm actually going to use a smaller brush. I'm going to use the angled eye brush so that I get it just exactly where I want it. So I want to start off with setting that concealer. We don't want to put the powder on heavy. What we just want to do is just stop it being shiny. And we're going to have, you know, quite a bit of blending to do with our smoky eye look. So powder blends best onto powder. So we want a nice powdery finish on the eye to blend the smoky eye onto. And if you're one of those ladies that finds that their mascara rubs under their eye and it actually they find it moves later on, just make sure that you get your powder right up underneath your lashes, because then when the mascara is something that's kind of, you know, got a greasy formulation,
oily.
but your skin's not oily and it's actually powdery, you'll find that it won't rub. I'm just going to take the powder up onto the T-zone as well. So we've got control, we've still got that really nice beautiful glow in the cheeks, but the T-zone's nice and matte. So we're just going to finish that again with the hydration mist, how we finish all the bases. And so we're going to give it a nice spritz to set it and get those lovely antioxidants into the skin. And that's the evening base done. And next we're going to move on to eyes.